Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for another video today. Going to basically just look at like 2 or 3 pickups that came in the mail in the recent weeks that have yet to be shown on the channel. And because I only have a couple queued up and that it's only going to take them, maybe 2-3 minutes, figured we'd do a little COMC rummage as well. So pulled out, I think, about a dozen, yet to be featured COMC cards out of my box to just take a look at, and they'll be added into the collection after today's video proper. So we'll start with the mail. The first one here, I actually left this off when I finished my Sport Lots box series of videos a while back and was cleaning up all of the trash and envelopes afterwards. I realized there was a pair of cards that I had neglected to show in the video. So this is the final order from my Sport Lot box. It's 2 copies of the same card, and this is one that I learned about from my buddy Eric over at Those Back Pages, probably many months back now or longer. He had shown off this Wander Franco. So this came from the Bowman Heritage release in 2019, which I think was like an online only release. And I love this card because I instantly bought into Eric's argument that this could potentially be a memorable card down the line if Wander, goes on to have a good major league career, which he certainly showed a lot of promising signs of that in 2021 before the Rays were eliminated. So I grabbed a pair of these, and the reason this card is cool, it features the same image that is used on his first Bowman card of him rounding the bases, but it's obviously a much more simple format, a la 1950s Bowman, with just the colorized photo and the 50s style, Bowman back. So these are neat. Learned about these, like I said, on Those Back Pages, and, shortly after watching the video, checked out Sport Lots and saw that there was one seller left at the time who had a couple of these, and he was asking $6 a piece. So I just went ahead and grabbed both copies because I am a believer in Wando, a believer in Wander overall, Wando. And at the time, didn't really have any cards of his. I do have one pretty significant Wander Franco card that I've picked up since, but at the time, this was a way to get a cheap little start on a Wander Franco collection. He's been super popular right out of the gate, so he's never really been cheap. But I got these for $6 a piece, or 12 total. And I think, just a few months later, based on what we saw this past season, want to say those are about twice that cost now. So probably, similar cost for one now to what I paid, for the pair of those back, in the spring or early summer. So whenever I got them. So thanks to Eric for the heads up on that. Next up, I got a quick hockey card here. So I've shown a lot of these Metal Universe cards. Really love this set that Upper Deck revived this year. I opened up a blaster. I built my own blaster on Sport Lots, and I've continued to chase down some of the parallels. And in particular, I've been scooping up on occasion, when the price is right, some of these purple Spectrum cards. There's a couple things I think are cool about these. They are sort of like a poor man's precious metal gems. So if you're familiar with Metal Universe, you're probably familiar with the wildly popular Precious Metal Gems shiny parallels that you can get. They're serial numbered out of 100. They are in this release as well, but they're very, very expensive. These purple Spectrums are similar. They're definitely not as nice as a PMG, but they're relatively rare as well, numbered to 199, you can see on the back here. So these are only about twice as common as a Precious Metal Gems insert, and it's amazing how cheap these can be had for. I love like the hollow foil purple effect here. I'm a fan of purple cards to begin with. I have a whole Purple Z folio stuffed full of purple cards, so I like that. I like the closeness to the Precious Metal Gems and the fact that they are serial numbered out of 199. And I've gotten really good. I don't know if I've just been lucky or it's just a knack for finding deals or what, but I've had good luck tracking these down at pretty much what I consider bargain basement prices. If I were to go try to get you know, an Austin Matthews Precious Metal Gems card out of Metal Universe, I would be up into the hundreds of dollars easily. So that's not really, you know, that's still a nice buy if you're a Matthews collector. I think he's a very solid scorer, but you can't collect everybody. And I mainly collect Ovechkin, McDavid, and Draisaitl, but I wanted a little bit of Matthews represented. So rather than spending hundreds, I got this Austin Matthews here on a best offer, and it's fitting that I put it next to these Wander Francos because, like the Wander Francos, this card cost me $6. I think it was $1.99 shipping or something like that. But even with tax and shipping, well under $10 to my door. That's a little bit more in my range for Austin Matthews than a Precious Metal Gem. So snatch that up. I do have some of those I've picked up from other players as well, those purples. So I'm sure we'll see some more of those at some point here on the channel. But I want to flip over to the third male pickup, which is a baseball card of the shiny variety. And it is this 2006 Topps Chrome Black Refractor of Pedro Martinez. So unfortunately, some of my cooler Martinez refractors like this one come from his days with the Mets when he wrapped it up with Boston, but love this card. He was just one of the most dominating pitchers that I've ever seen with my own two eyes. I think his shiny cards are pretty decent buys, and this was available for like $2 or $3 so on eBay, so just couldn't pass that up. And then we're at about the 6-minute and change mark, so let's just get to it and look at some of these COMC pickups. Some of these are older. I've mentioned this before, but I have, you know, a couple boxes of COMC cards that are like waiting around to be processed into the collection. So when I do one of these, I just grab cards out of those waiting to be processed stacks. So some of these are new that came in maybe even as recently as my most recent order, a month or two back, but some of them are going to be a little bit older than that. So here's one towards a set build. Tom Qualters for the White Sox. Just plugging away on that 59 release. Brutal set. Excuse me. The high numbers are proving tough in that one. Tom is not a high number. That's just a common card, but happy to get one closer to a complete set nonetheless. I think the last time I checked in on those, I'm around 2/3 of the way there with a 59 top set. Next up, we got one of my favorites. Not going to be a shocker to anybody to see this one on the channel. Sapphire of Pujols. This is from the 2020 update set. It's one of the active leaders cards, so he's a slugging percentage active leader behind his teammate there, Trout. Don't know how this looks, you know, a season or two later, but still a cool one. I can't pass up, you know, any Sapphire Pujols, especially for the price point. I believe, if memory serves, that was $1. That's definitely just going to be some Z-Folio food there. Speaking of Z-Folio food, here's a basketball card that'll go right into that Z-Folio. Nice vintage Celtics team leaders here with John Havlicek, JoJo White, and Dave Cowens. I know at least 2 of these guys are Hall of Famers, maybe even all 3. My basketball knowledge is pretty poor. I'm the first one to admit that, but do live in New England. The Celtics are my local team. Love this logo here, and just thought this would be a cool, cheap addition to the Basketball Z. Here's a hockey buyback. So I've been collecting these for years. I love buybacks, you know, baseball, hockey, you name it. And these ultra buybacks that Upper Deck did in the Fleer Showcase release a couple of years ago commemorate the 25th anniversary of the 92-93 Ultra set. I'm not a fan of Valerie Zelepukin, or it's a pretty funny name, but not really drawn to this card for any reason except that it was very, very cheap, like $1. And these are super tough to come by. I will buy any common from this set that I see, whether I have it or not, if I see one for just $1. So couldn't pass that up. Sent one of those to my buddy Sean over at Sean Stuff, which he featured in a video recently, explaining kind of how he got back into the hobby and into YouTube specifically. So definitely check that one out. Here is a blue slate silver sparkle, I believe it's called, parallel from 2013 Topps. This is Alfredo Aceves, who had some pretty good seasons with Boston, like a he was a reliable relief guy with kind of a funny personality, as you can see here. There is a catcher. I believe it's AJ Pierzynski in this photo, but you really can't even see him. He's like blocked out by the blue shine. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see. No, it actually looks like Kelly Shopik. I misspoke there, but just really cool cards. I showed the Pujols of this, which I have in a PSA 9, and these are just gloriously shiny. Would love to complete a Red Sox team set of these someday, but as it stands right now, we'll just add Alfredo to that grouping. Here's a 61 Hank Bauer. Because, no real reason. Why not, I guess. Just a nice photo here of a baseball lifer. And pretty cool to get a look at that KC Athletics cap there. And some weirdness going on in the background. It looks like a house back there. Some people sitting around in the grass. So nice early 60s card. There's really not a lot of backstory behind this except that it's a beautiful copy. Didn't have this one previously and it was like 50 cents. So snatch that up. Here's one. We saw one for the basketball Z Folio earlier. Here is one for the football Z Folio. So as a fan of shiny, I love these select cards. This one checks a lot of boxes for me. Odell Beckham Jr., obviously, he may not be a future Hall of Famer or anything like that, but he's been a solid player in the NFL for years. I love these die cut cards out of select. And of course, the shiny factor, the etching. I mean, look at the detail in the helmet, the face guard, the mouth guard. These select cards are just fantastic. Available for pocket change. This was a 50 or 60 cent pickup. That's going right into the football Z. And I swear I have a Z Folio episode coming soon. I've gotten a couple folks in the comments now asking me to just please show a Z Folio, even if it's not full yet. I will do that. I think I'll probably show my Ovechkin or Bogarts one first since they're mostly full. Just need to find the time to get that camera angle up and going and a little bit of free time to flip through one, but I will get a video posted soon. Here's a nice oversized card. I'm sort of half-heartedly working on the 56 Topps baseball set. So we have Danny O'Connell here for the Milwaukee Braves. Nice shot of Danny sliding into, it looks like sliding, into third or maybe actually back to first. I'm going to say sliding back to first base on like a pickoff attempt. Don't really have a whole lot of info about Danny. I just love and adore 50s baseball cards, especially these oversized sets from the first half or so of the decade. So I will buy any, 1950s card, common or not, of a guy that I don't have if the price is right. Here's another basketball card. We're getting close to the end here. Another basketball card for that Z Folio. Shout out to my buddy Brian at Walkenbach, who's a big Jazz fan. John Stockton. And just got this one because, really because of the Prism Shine. That's really all there is to it. I love the retired players in the Prism basketball releases. Just super cool card. This was like 40 cents or something and thought that would look nice in the Basketball Z Folio. Down to the end here, we got one more shine and then two vintage cards. So this is a blue Refractor from the 2013 Topps Chrome set. Got it in my head at one point that I was going to try to do a team set, a Red Sox team set of these blue Refractors, and needed the Allen Webster rookie card. These are tough but not impossible as we close in on almost 10 years now since this was released. They're numbered out of 199. So this is not an expensive card at all. Just, pretty cheaply acquired. Be much harder to get like the David Ortiz and the Xander. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Xander won't be in this, but the David Ortiz, Jackie Bradley Jr., Dustin Pedroia, those types of guys will be a little tougher, but Allen Webster was low-hanging fruit. And we got two vintage cards to close it out. The first one is a hockey card from 72, 73 Topps. Love that Topps and O-Pee-Chee used to do these trophy cards. So we have the Lady Bing trophy. Nice simple design here. I love the blue background. The backs of these give a breakdown on what the trophy is for. In this case, sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct. And then you also see, from the advent of the trophy right up through the prior 71-72 season, who the winners were of the award. So pretty neat. Get some names that appear more than once on this list. Your Red Kellys and Stan Mikitas of the world, Alex Delvecchio. But cool card. I just love giving the trophies their own unique card in a flagship set. I think that's kind of cool. Something that might get old if they did it, every year or year after year. But for those vintage sets, I think it's neat, and I'm happy to have that one to join some of my others. And then the final one is a vintage baseball card. It's probably the most valuable card that we've looked at today, maybe up there with those Wander Francos. Got a nice, clean 1965 Topps Don Drysdale. Just honestly bought this because I didn't have it. He's a Hall of Fame, hurler, and I really love the 65 design. Centering's decent here, but not perfect. The 65 cards are brutal on centering. I've been trying to find a halfway decent centered Mickey Mantle for about 2 years now. That's in my price range, but happy to have this Drysdale. It's in really good shape. I got this during a sale or a promotion. The back looks nice and clean too. If memory serves, this was about $6, so just can't go wrong for this caliber of player, and an example that looks this good from a set this iconic. So that is it. We will close out today's video with that Drysdale. I really appreciate you sticking with me through almost 20 minutes here of sports card talk. Hope you saw at least something that was interesting to you. And whether you did or you didn't, I will certainly be back in the near future with some more sports card content. Until then, take care.